Shemai GTA chums, I'm going to be rating the best of the Criminal Enterprises DLC vehicles, all 17 of them, from worst to best. And that is exactly what this video is all about. So let's crack straight on, shall we? At number 17 we have the Brioso 300 wide body, which costs 600 grand in bennies. But is it any good? Well, it's got the same customization as the original Brioso. There's not really a great deal of difference other than the wide body bit, to be quite honest. Performance is horrific as well. Very slow, really bad handling. I did a race once and I DNF'd that race to the hilt. So let's test it and see how it goes. Oh, whoops. Well, it appears to be some griefers in session. What a shame, we can't test that one. In at number 16, we have the Kanjo SJ, the Honda Civic Coupe, which is, in fairness, it's got some very good customization to it. Performance is not great, you know, it's a really slow front-wheel drive car, so for that reason, I don't especially like it. But I do appreciate the customization. It's exactly the same kind of customization as the Kanjo, the standard Kanjo, and it has a Princess Robot bubblegum livery, so that's why it's in at number 16. Next we have the Postlude, based on the Mark I Honda Prelude, which is a good kind of... Actually no, it was the Mark II or III Prelude that I like. But anyway, it's an alright car. Customization wise, it's pretty decent, and that's the main reason you would be buying it. Again, front wheel drive, slightly better performance than the Kanjo SJ, because I think it just corners a bit better. There's something more I like about the styling as well. It's much more boxy, which I prefer. And this customization, I've really done it excellent justice with the ginger and the blue. I really like it. And I also like the other one as well, but it's still only 15th place out of this DLC. Very slow car. Next we have the SM722. Now this is based on the Mercedes SLK drop top chop off, very expensive car in real life, owned by idiots, nobody who actually drives cars, because it is actually based on the Sterling Moss car, which was his number was 722, his race number. It's a tribute to that, really, in memory of that record-breaking car, but it's not really driven by people like that, at least on YouTube. And the performance in this game isn't anything special. You know, 2.1 million. I'd want performance a little bit better for sports class, gotta be honest. Rear wheel drive, it drives okay. You can make it look nice enough. You can make it look like the original. So that's good. This is, I think, as near to the original as I'm going to get. But most people on YouTube, they just park them at posh hotels rather than drive the things. But yeah, I mean, it's alright. I don't really drive it myself, so I wouldn't really buy it. So we're not even in the class of cars that I would actually buy yet. So let's keep going, shall we? Onwards. In at number 13 we have the Reinhard, currently on discount at 1.1 million, but it's normally 1.6 million about. The price is actually okay, even at full price, and it is one of the first car that I probably would buy because it's an estate car, and I do like the estate cars. It's in the sedan class for racing, and it's a very close second place to number 1, the Cinque Miglia. I do prefer this Cinque Miglia. If I was going to own one of these two, I would always buy the Cinque Miglia first. But it is a car I would certainly buy on discount. Driving wise, it's all-wheel drive compared to the rear-wheel drive Cinque Miglia, and it's got a bit of understeer on the corners, which I don't really like. A bit too much understeer for my personal enjoyment. But otherwise, it's a quick enough car. It's not exciting quick though. You know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, I could compete in sedan class races, but it's not like blow your socks off, burning all in your underpants kind of speed, is it? It's not. It's alright. Let's smash it up, shall we? Onwards to the next one. Next we have the Sentinel Classic wide body, which will cost you 650 grand. I would still do it though. I'd still pull that trigger. Even though the Sentinel, the Classic, will cost you 600 grand. It's a BMW 3 Series, or M3 probably, with the old wide body there. There's some decent customization on it, and I think it offers enough slight performance uplift on the original, and enough customization to make it worthwhile. However, it does not have a Princess Robot bubblegum livery, just like the Sentinel Classic, so that is a main downfall of it. But I would buy it, but mainly when Benny's is 50% off. What am I doing smashing it like that? That's probably when I would buy this car, to be quite honest. And that is number 12. Yeah. In at number 11, we have the Maserati MC20, or the Core-Seater as it's called. And it's a nice car, it's a very nice car. This is one of the ones that I would actually probably purchase at full price, and it's 1.8 million as well. Rear-wheel drive, but very slippy, but very fun at the same time. I didn't buy it when it was released, purely because it annoyed me, because GTA Plus members got it for free, so that really freaked me off, so I didn't buy it. But I should have bought it, because it's such a nice little car. It's in the same kind of mould as the Torero XO, and you can see the engine in the back is exactly the same. So that is the performance of it, but I don't know, is it a bit slower or a bit faster than a Torero? I think top speed might be a bit faster, or lap time, one of those, I can't remember. But it's a good car, definitely. And 1.8 million, it's not a bad price. So that is number 11. At number 10, we have the Greenwood, which pulls awesome wheelies. It's a 70s style car, but it doesn't have the suspension of a 70s car. It's pretty stiff suspension, therefore the performance handling is pretty damn good, so you can drive it nicely, and it's pretty quick as well. You know, it's not a supercar, but it is pretty damn amazing, and it's one of 2 Imani Tech cars in this GLC. In my opinion, this is probably one of the best value ones as well, because it's 1.5 million standard price, but it's only 1 million once you unlock the trade price. So for that reason, it's a great car. It has the bombs, the mines that'll drop the oil slick mines, but it doesn't have the bulletproof windows or the guns, which I don't think is a bad thing. The bulletproof windows I would like, but you know, it's not a deal breaker. And it also has a bit more explosive protection as well. But it drives good, it pulls good wheelies, excellent car. The styling as well, good customization. And the internals aren't brilliant, but you don't look at the inside when you're driving it, do you? So very nice car, well recommended. I would add this to my collection if I was you. We have the Ruiner ZZ8, which is a decent wheelie machine, great little muscle car. And it doesn't really drive like a muscle car. It's more of the ilk of the STX, the Buffalo, because it corners nicely. It doesn't corner like the Buffalo. It is more muscle car than Buffalo, but it is excellent. Great little car to drive. 1.3 million. You know, it's not the cheapest, but it's fun. You know, it's enjoyable. It's not the fastest either. But for people who like the Pontiac Trans Am, and that it's based on, you can get the old bird wings there. That is very nice. The Phoenix. So yeah, that is an excellent little car. I'd get it on discount though, as ever with these things, because I don't drive it a lot, but it does really nicely, and I like the design of it. But customization, it could do with a little bit more, I think. So that is the ZZ8. So what's next? Which means in number 8 we have the fan favourite, the modern Camaro, or the Vigero ZX as it's called in game. Costs nearly 2 million, quite expensive for a car that's basically fast in a straight line, like a brand new Gauntlet Hellfire basically, an upgraded version, slightly faster, got a bit more customization, and doesn't it look great? It does look great, and you can drive it nicely, have a happy time, but I'd say 2 million is quite a lot to be paying for it. I'm not sure if I would buy it for 2 million. I think I'd probably wait for it to be on discount. For sure, I'd be thinking about it. It's kind of the opposite to the previous car, the Ruiner Z8, in ZZ8, because it drives like a proper muscle car, as in it's got a lot of slip on the corners. And the other bad thing about it, the real disappointment, I've got to be honest, is the wheelies. So because it's so powerful, with all these powerful cars, the wheelies are really difficult to pull off, and I've not figured it out yet. The nearest I've got is a dodgy wheelie, so let's try that. That's as good as it gets. It does that dragging on the floor really slow wheelie business, not a good takeoff wheelie at all if you're in a drag race. So I don't know how to wheelie this thing. Maybe you do, and it might make it worthwhile. But it's a very good car, but I'd get it on discount. That is all I'm saying. And obviously you have the HSW version of this car, which makes it even more difficult to control, but I am learning how to control this. It power slides excellently, so it is a good car. You could race it in muscle class, but I've got to be honest, I'd find it a bit difficult for me. But if you're good with muscle cars that don't have a lot of grip, then fair play. but it's by no means as good as the for consistent lap times as a Buffalo STX. So bear that in mind. Next. The Audi e-tron, or the Omnis EGT, this is the other Imani Tech vehicle, and it's very similar, no bulletproof windows, but it is an electric car, and it does handle a bit funny actually, and I've reviewed this, and I've reviewed it as being higher than the Greenwood under the condition of performance rather than value for money as such. Still, it's quite difficult to handle though. It's very slippery on the corners despite being all-wheel drive. I don't know why that is. It's something to do with a lot of these electric cars. The Neon is a lot better handling wise because it has a bit more grip, sorry. So that is my main complaint about it. A tricky one to drive. It's 1.8 million as well, so it's not as cheap as the Greenwood, especially if you have the Greenwood discount. The Greenwood, it's not really worth it. If you've got one or the other, I'd get the Greenwood every time, based on it costing $1 million. But yeah, very nice car, certainly fun to master because it's difficult to learn how to drive. Good customization, but it's not got a million of customization. I think the look of it as well, I do prefer the muscle car look of the Greenwood. So that is the e-tron. At number 6 we have the 10F with the active spoiler. Look at that. And this was the car that we waited a long time for. The community was all crying like babies, and then when it arrived, a lot of people were very disappointed, but I wasn't. It's an amazing car for 1.675 million, cheaper than the Corsita, but it's very much like the Corsita. It's got the same engine, and it's got the same engine as the Torero XO as well, but it's slower than both those cars, but it has the same style of performance. So if you don't like those cars, you won't like this. All because of the power slides. I'm just trying to get there we go. That's what this car's all about, and I enjoy driving. It's a thrill. It's a fun car, and it's one of the cars that I've driven the most out of this DLC, and it's only 1.675 million, so it's cheaper than the Corsita and by far cheaper than the Torero XO. So for that reason, it's a great built car, and I bought it at full price. I'm very happy I did too. Next. At number 5 we have the 10F Custom, the wide body, and the reason why it's in here is not because of the customization, because it's exactly the same as the 10F, and it does cost you 575 grand. I'm not even sure if it's worth it, even though it's this highly rated. It's this highly rated because of the performance. It's slightly better performance than the 10F, and because the 10F is at number 6, this is at number 5. That's the rationale. I would not buy this car though. I would buy the 10F, or I'd buy the Torero XO, one of those two, but neither in between, or even the Corsita, you know. So that is why it's at number 5. I'm not even going to drive it. It's the same experience. Come on. At number 4 you have the Weevil Custom. This is a muscle car Benny's variant. Costs you 980 grand, and as you can tell there, it has real problems with the wheelies, just like the Vigoro ZX. But that's because it's super fast, just like the Vigoro ZX. In fact, not like the Vigoro, it's faster than the Vigoro ZX, about 160 miles an hour or something like that. And that is why you purchase it, I suppose. It's a drag racer, and it's a rat rod. It's a Volks rod, or they call it. If you look for him on YouTube, there's cars just like this, and it's an amazing looking car, and it's very slippy on the corners. I mean, it drives like the Vigoro ZX in many ways, cornering wise, except for one thing. The short wheelbase means that it spins out very easily, so that can make it quite tricky on the corners, but you can get used to it. Do not worry, my chums. And it's certainly worthwhile. Like if you have a Weevil lying around, then just update it. Although the Weevil is one of the best wheelie cars in the games, you do lose that wheelie ability. I think this is such a fun vehicle, especially because you've got the easiest wheelie glitch in the game as well. It's just like the rat truck wheelie glitch. So you kind of hold accelerator and brake off, 1 second on. There you go. So the unlimited wheelie glitch, but it's a lot more reliable than the other wheelie glitches of the same style. If it wasn't for that car, that would have carried on forever. Brilliant wheelie glitch, and that's why you're buying it. That's why it's $1 million. That's why it's actually worth it. I'd pay full price for this, no problem, because it's such a unique vehicle, got great customization, and it's one of my favourite cars in the game. So why is it at number 4? It should be a bit higher, but Yeah, we'll find out, eh? It should be a bit higher. Maybe it should be number one. I mean, all these cars could be number one, the next ones we're looking at. At number 3, very expensive, it's the LM87 for 2.9 million. I hope we bought it on discount the other day. The reason why you might want to buy it is because it's a Le Mans car. And that reason, it's got a lot of grip. I'm not even sure why I'm taking such a wide angle there. Because it will turn on a sixpence. It's got millions of grip, it's rear wheel drive, it's very nice, and it will win races. It's got the fastest lap times out of this DLC. Because it's in the Supers class, and you can win Supers races on the tight tracks with lots of corners, but on the more open tracks with long straights you're going to see the Krieger pulling away. But it's a great car, it really is, and it's single seater as well, just like a Le Mans car. Internals, I'll show you that quickly. It's very nice customization as well. It is very much like the S80RR, which is exactly the same car. Let's change the view. Exactly the same car, the same design. So that is the only complaint. If you have the S80RR, there's no reason to buy this. But if you don't have that already, you got to buy it, especially when it's on discount. But for 2.8 million, I'd get it on discount. If you already have a Krieger, etc., you know, I don't think it adds anything Actually, it kind of does. It's like if you're rubbish at driving or you want a really good grippy car for cornering. It's amazing, it really is. A very forgiving car to drive, he says, smashing into stuff. What's next then? In at number 2, maybe it should be number 1, is the Drauger, which is 1.87 million. It's at 1.4 million if you've unlocked the discount. It's number 1 in its class as for off-road racing and for general off-roading as well. So going up Mount Chiliad, it's the best at that. Number freaking 1 at everything off-road. So it should be number 1. The only reason it isn't number 1 is because I don't drive it enough, because I'm always in town, not up the mountain, not very often anyway. You know, I've got to go off what I drive more frequently, and that is what is number 1, unfortunately. And that is sad, really, because this is an amazing car, and it's a lot cheaper than the number 1 car, and it's on discount this week, so you can get it for an absolute steal. Buy it. It's got great customization based on the Chevy it's a real life Chevy Concepts, that's the one. But it's brilliant. Look how, I mean, what? I've only been doing my video for a minute and it's nearly up at the top of Mount Chiliad. That is how rapid this thing is, and forgiving, because it's got hard suspension, unlike a lot of off-roaders. Got super hard suspension, so you can race it around town. He says going down the mountain. That was a driver error. It's nothing to do with the car, which is the best off-roader in the entire freaking game. You need this car, and that is the only car I'm going to say that for. I just said it. Listen, the only one that is essential to you for those reasons. I mean, maybe it isn't. Maybe you don't give a damn about off-road races or going up Mount Chiliad. In this case, it isn't essential, but it's essential. I'm saying start doing those things because it's fun. I've talked enough about this. It's such a great car. This should be number 1, but I can't make it number 1 because it's not my most drived vehicle, and the number 1 is a very good one, an extremely fun vehicle, and one of the best at what it does also. Number 1 looks like the Ignis. Has all-wheel drive just like the Ignis, but it's nothing like the Ignis. It's got the same styling, and that is all. Active spoiler, very nice indeed. But this is a beast in a drag race. Super fast. Not as quick as the Weevil Custom, but I think of the Ignis as my nurturing father who looked after me forever as a child. He didn't actually. And I think of the Torero XO as my mother after a bottle of wine, and there is no nurturing in there. There's a bit of lurking anger. If you just unleash the beast, do not challenge her, respect her, and keep your mouth shut, basically, because that is what you have to do with not Ignis, with the Torero XO. You have to respect her, because on the corners, she's a beast. Power slide beast. Look at that. Amazing power slides is what it's all about. She just does not have the grip. She will not corner like the Ignis whatsoever, because the spoilers don't work for her either. She just wants to hurt you. and smash you and punish you every time like that. Well, if you try and talk during your YouTube video and do a video, you've got to do it about 5 or 6 times before you finally get the take where you don't smash it too many times to sell it to people. And I mean sell it because this is a great car. It takes time to master, but doesn't everything. And I don't think I've mastered it, nowhere near. But I have a hell of a lot of fun trying, and that's what this car is about. 2.89 million. And yeah, that is expensive, but that is the going price for supercars. And if you don't like the 10F, you will not like this car, but maybe you should revisit your 10F, get it out to the garage and learn how to drive it, because it's worth it. Once you nail those power slides, you know, it's like, wow, you can pull it off and survive. It's so ultra rewarding, but the speed is amazing as well. Speaking of the 10F, do you recognise the internals? It's exactly the same. Some of the customization is exactly the same as the 10F. The engine's exactly the same as the 10F and the Corsica. So there you go. It's like there's a few corners that have been cut, but performance-wise and looks-wise, this is the best car in this DLC. Of course, you might not want to buy it. You might want to get the LM87. My game's just crashed. So that's a good time to wrap it up. But what I'll conclude on is that the top four are the top at what they do specifically that I've discussed in that video. So one of them might be the car for you, for sure. So think about it, consider it, especially if you have the discount this week. New cars will be coming out on Tuesday the 13th, and this process starts again. So I need to clean out this garage and start again. So what I'd like to hear from now is your comments on what your favourite car is from this DLC and why. And any disagreements you have are brilliant as well. It's always good to hear from you. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and have a great day. And if you're playing GTA, stay safe out there. Thanks for watching.